Hey guys, this is Matt from the Department of Conservation, Matty. Matt's brought us from Waipoua Forest out to this farm, and we'll talk a bit more about this particular area in a moment. But on the way we stopped and had a look at this great vista, and you said that that was the catchment, the Waipoua Awa catchment. So what's a catchment and what's significant about it, Matt?
Well, what we saw on the way up is all of that forest, all of that ex-farmland and the pasture we saw, it was all areas that if it rained fell in it, it would end up eventually into the Waipoua River that we're trying to work to restore from the mountains to the sea.
So that's pretty important to think about with the health of a river, isn't it, the catchment?
It is, because everything within that catchment is connected to the water, so things that might have a negative impact on the river, they're going to be coming somewhere from that catchment. They can't come from a next door catchment, they'll be coming from that catchment.
Right, so thinking about the health of a river, we need to think about all those land uses around the Awa. Now, you brought us to this farmland here. What's special about this particular place here?
Well, we're in one of the highest parts of Northland right now, and some of the highest farmland. And there's the main stem of the Waipoua below us. It's more of a stream at this point rather than a river, and it turns into the Waipoua as the other smaller streams join it, but this is where it starts.
So this is the source of the Waipoua?
It's the source of it.
This is the headwaters. That's cool.
And it offers the opportunity of how can we work with this land use of farming and the Awa to work so that there's no negative impacts from that land use on the Awa.
Okay, so give us an example of what's been going on here that's minimising those impacts.
Well, we quickly developed a relationship with the farmer and have worked with him to fence off stock out of the waterways. We're working with him to retire off the wetlands within his farm that feed into the streams, that feed into the river.
So you mentioned fences, and I can see a fence that goes along here. How has that helped?
Well, that has helped by keeping stock directly out of the water, and it also reduces the amount of sediment or nutrients from farming that could enter into the water, because there's a buffer between one land use and the Awa. What else is happening in here though is once we kept stock out of the waterway, there's more trees growing up beside the stream, which is good for a shading effect. Like this river and what lives in the river needs shade, and not to be too hot in the summer and not to dry out in the summer, and not to have too much water hitting it at force in the winter during the rains. So having these trees near the river that are coming up is it's a marvellous thing for the river. And in this case, with the amount of trees around intact forest, we haven't had to plant any trees here. We've got a whole lot of different tree species coming up all by themselves.
All because of a fence.
All because of a fence.
So that's fantastic. Well, thanks for bringing us to this cool spot, the source of the Waipoua Awa. And I'm looking forward to going down and exploring a bit more, and of course exploring further down from the mountains to the sea along the Waipoua Awa. Kia ora.